Aspas probably just played the two best games of Valorant back-to-back that anyone has ever done in Valorant history. For the first map, he set the BO3 kill record with 80 kills in 3 maps, and on the second, he got 76, coming very close to his goal. However, even with that, and for context, that is dropping about 3 kills per map more than Prime Demon 1 and Prime EA. This was truly a generational run that I don't think could be repeated by anyone other than Aspas. Despite that, MIBR lost both games and were eliminated from Champions. In this video, I'm going to try and take a deep dive into what in the world went wrong for MIBR to still lose after Aspas dropped back-to-back generational performances. I'm Lionzblade. It would mean a ton to me if you would subscribe. It's completely free, and I'm up at 6 in the morning making this video. I don't make much money off my videos, so it would mean a ton to me if you subbed. With that said, let's get into it and figure out what went wrong with MIBR and how they failed Aspas. MIBR have won their last 2 rounds, and to be honest, they're looking like they're getting off to a decent start here, especially after losing the pistol. But I want to talk about a couple things. Number 1, this Viper Wall does not get any value with Hyunmin inserted here. The threat of this Viper Wall is that someone's going to be able to lurk up behind it. If you get out in front of it, that's not the case, and you're not going to get punished for it because no one's really here to do that. The execute is going to end up coming a B for MIBR, so there's no real threat. Obviously, though, DRX doesn't know that, so it is a risky play, but it's something you're able to do with Waylay because you can just have that TP out. Now, with Waylay getting more play, I think that things like this definitely contribute to that. You know, the information you're able to get on a super light buy for a free ability. Regardless, Cortesia also isn't going to be able to get any space over here because Flashback is over here jiggling, waiting, sees him, he's not able to get the kill, and, you know, it's not really his fault. He's having a great day, 8-2. He was really the only person other than Aspas that I went positive, I believe. Verno may have. He was close, I know that much. But here's the thing. With all of this information gathered on A by this fake clone. That's right. There's a fake clone that goes from here all the way down here, and it lets DRX rotate the Waylay over. This is going to be super important, so pay attention. With this fake clone, and again, he's just fake cloning, hoping, you know, someone doesn't shoot him, but he's able to get all the info that, hey, no one's over here, I don't hear anything, I don't see anything, so go over towards B, and he's about to use Hyunmin as a round-winning piece of utility. Let me explain. So the Waylay Saturate, I'm assuming you all know what it does, even if you don't know the name, right here. If you saw it fly in, let me speed that back for you guys real quick. If you saw it fly in right there, the weird like purple little light thing right there, that's the Waylay Saturate. It's the thing that makes your crosshair and movement all slow, and everything you do is just slowed down. But because of this, combined with the fade seize that I don't know if anyone was actually I don't think anyone was seized by it before. I think it was just a good saturate. But because of that, look, Hyunmin is able to get 3. And I think the best example, we didn't really get too great of an angle because of just everything that was going on. Hyunmin, Aspas is looking up at this. He's breaking the haunt because he's not going to be able to reach Hyunmin in time while he's saturated. With that, Hyunmin gets 3, cuts off the choke point, and wins a round where they had like 4 sheriffs. Those are the rounds that not only turn the tide of the economy and ults, but also momentum. And then, of course, the little fake clone gets its value. So just a great round from DRX overall. And I know you're probably thinking, well, wait, Aspas didn't get 3 that round. Why are you blaming the rest of MIBR? Don't worry, we will see. Now, the very next round, MIBR are going to 5-man on B here, so no more lurks, and as you can see, there was a lot of utility and people used on A and B to try and clear these lines early, get in some good positions, make sure that they're, you know, have a decent idea of where people are, but they don't. And that's because MIBR were all grouped up in hookah, but after this utility is going to see some of MIBR, they back up and they know. But I mentioned Aspas here, and his first bloods to first death were absurd. Right here, he gets a first blood. He had 18 first bloods and 4 first deaths. Those are not real numbers from any duelist player at all. That simply does not happen. I want you to understand like how absurd that is. It is completely improbable. It just doesn't happen over a series. Now, with that out of the way, After this opening kill, I'm going to be honest, MIBR freeze for a little bit. At first, I thought it was the Viper Wall, but then they don't even execute after the Viper Wall. So I thought, oh, it had to be that they were just drawing out utility. But in that case, I don't know why they didn't smoke right here. And here's the uncomfortable truth. When you take Teleporter, normally you have a lurker. You have someone who's outside TP to make sure something like this isn't happening. If you don't, you have to use utility to clear everything, because otherwise something like this happens, right? Artson is jumping around, and I hate to be that guy, but he did have a flash he could have used to clear the space. Boom, he dies. Flashback's able to get out of there with Yoru ult, and now, yeah, it's a 4v4. The advantage that you had with Aspas's First Blood is gone. It no longer exists. Flashback is now sitting here with an op, waiting, and the rest of MIBR just get farmed by DRX there. I mean, again, I really hate to, question the call like that, but if the plan was to pivot all along, I don't know why you didn't have a lurker. If the plan wasn't to pivot and it was done reactively off of the Waylay ult, then you need to be using utility to clear it. Either way, this is not a round that's going to win you the game. 4-2, MIBR losing again. MIBR have to win this round if they want a chance to come back into the game, and it is not going to go well, as you probably know. Now, at first, it's very standard stuff from DRX. They do a Molly and a Prowler to go ahead and get control of B-Long. Not full control, obviously, as they pretty quickly give it up, but that initial back off is forced out of Cortesia. Aspas plays this spot a lot, by the way. He's on the little truck boost. I think he plays it probably more than anyone that I can recall seeing. Let me know if that's just like me being crazy or if he actually does play there more often than other players in your opinion. But yeah, I mean, I feel like he plays there quite often. Artson has an interesting KD here, but his job on the defense for MIBR is pretty much just guard this area. Guard it. Sit there. Do not let them get up here without us knowing. That's what he does pretty much all of defense. And yeah, that's his role, to be quite honest with you. And yeah, he executed it decently well. But especially on this round, they have the awareness of, hey, Flashback's here. They're going to go re-clear this area, go 1-for-1. But when Aspas gets his kill into freeing, the round immediately should be, okay, MIBR win. There is no reason that DRX with a Marshall, a Guardian, they're all on half shield, should be winning this round. There's just not. If MIBR want to actually get, continue along at champs, you have to win this round. But they don't. Mako is someone who I feel like people forget about, and then he just is at an international event, and then everyone remembers, oh yeah, he's the best smokes player in the world, probably. And then they forget about him for 3 more months, and then the cycle repeats, I think, for a lot of the international crowd. This Verno flank being sniffed out is the beginning of the end. Great job, great awareness from the Fade there to, kill the other Fade in Verno, and that right there is the beginning of the end. It allows Mako to go ahead, get the 1, 2, and eventually the 3 that Verno obviously would have killed him. He wouldn't have been able to do that if the flank wasn't watched. Mako clutches this, you gotta believe me, bro. But for some reason the video is buffering. You gotta believe me, bro. Mako clutches this. I pinky promise, bro. He gets the kill. There you go. Clutch, all that. But MIBR still have some fight left in them. Now, MIBR have called a timeout. They've done everything they can, but nothing has worked. They called the timeout 2 rounds ago. Couldn't win that round. But what does work is Aspas. Aspas will, I cannot remember what coach said it, but there was a coach who said, and I think he put it the best anyone ever has, Aspas will win you 3 or 4 rounds just because, right? If you're playing against Aspas, you will lose 3 or 4 rounds because of Aspas, and you can't do anything about it. Now, I disagree with the DRX call here. I think they should have sped up B off of this. There are 3 people running him down A, and I think you really need to speed up B, especially after this kill from Hyunmin, but they instead had the bomb going towards A. By the way, the reaction time on this was insane. He saw like a glimpse of Cortesia and was just able to somehow get that kill. Absurd stuff, really. But again, bomb seems to go back to B, and then they try and save freeing after he gets his 1. And I get it. You want to regain, or you want to keep your numbers advantage once you have it, but it's just a really interesting spot to commit an ult to. We'll go with interesting because I don't agree with it at all. However, they are still able to get sight, and as you can see, Aspas, the satchel not going to stop him, so he decides, okay, I'll kill Mako, I'll satchel up, I'll kill Hyunmin, make it a 3v2 situation, and now, for as much as DRX do, again, Aspas will win you a couple of rounds because he's Aspas. And this is one of those rounds to make it 11-7. Beautiful nade at the end, by the way. I think that was overlooked. Just perfect nade. Even though freeing was low, it was very nice because you need these guns online if you want any hope of winning the game. So it's very nice of him to have the understanding of, hey, we don't even need to commit to a fight here. I'll just throw this nade and boom. 4K and the round is secured to maybe not, get them back in things, but to give them hope, give them a shot here at the game. Now, it's 12-10 on this last round here, and DRX are picking up the pace. They play very quickly, and then they pause. They do something that a lot of teams don't. A lot of teams, you'll see when they get that initial kill, they'll go quicker. They'll speed up so that you can't have the rotations go ahead and come on over. Instead, DRX, they really like these little pauses where they kind of wait, they hold on, they figure out their execute, and then they go. And you'll see right here, Sheenum is going up and down, just jumping for Aspas on this line so that Aspas can watch back towards the more main instead of right below him. Unfortunately for Aspas, the Prowler flies right there into the air, clears him, and as soon as this kill goes on to Sheenum, I mean, there's not really a way that you're going to win this round if you're MIBR, and it does, unfortunately, end their run at champions once this flank from Verno is found out. Cortesia, wonderful player, probably the best player on this roster other than Aspas, depending on how you feel about Verno's IGLing. I'd probably put Verno above him, but he definitely has an argument, but he's unable to win a 1v5 right here. And yeah, so MIBR just did not perform well around Aspas. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Please remember to subscribe because it would mean a ton to me. Click on one of these videos if you like my content, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.